Given the current pandemic, all the interviews are now happening online, whether it's for internships, placements, or even for university admissions. Now, the approach that you go for in a video interview is very different as compared to a face-to-face interview. And why is that? Because in a face-to-face interview, you are present physically in front of the interviewer to go for a formal handshake, showcase your personality, build that personal connection, and finally convince the hiring manager that you're the perfect person for the job. But how do you create that same impact in a video interview? Well, let's find out. I am Neha Agrawal, and in this video I'm going to share with you 5 tips that will help you ace your video interview and get you that job offer. And towards the end, I will also share with you a wise tip, and you have to follow that tip throughout your video interview. So do make sure that you watch this video till the very end. And now, let's get going. So the first thing that you need to do is to be prepared. Most of the time, we take a video interview very casually. We think that all we have to do is sit in front of the computer, answer some questions that the interviewer is asking, and that's all. My job is done. And this is exactly where we go wrong. You need to consider a video interview as seriously as a face-to-face one. And for that, you need to be prepared. The first thing that you need is a quiet room, because the last thing that you want during your interview is distractions of some sort. Even when I'm shooting all these YouTube videos or if I'm taking my online workshops, I make sure that there's nobody in my room and there are no distractions. So please find a quiet room before you go for your video interview. The second thing that you need to have is a plain background. If there are a lot of objects behind you, then it can be very distracting for the interviewer. So a plain wall in your house would be ideal for a video interview. The third thing that you need to do is find an alternate internet connection. For most of us, the Wi-Fi connection can be very unreliable at times. And if during your video interview, the video stops working, although no fault of yours, your interview might not go well. Because there is a reason why the interviewers are going for a video interview. They want to look at you, they want to see how you answer questions. So make sure that you have an alternate internet connection ready for that. So in case your Wi-Fi stops working, you should have a mobile hotspot or a dongle so that you can quickly switch the connection and make sure that your video works throughout your interview. The fourth thing that you need to do is practice the software from beforehand. Nowadays, there are so many video conferencing platforms available like Zoom, Google Meet, Cisco Webex, Microsoft Teams, and so many others. So you need to know how the software works from beforehand. So catch hold of a friend and practice it, because during the interview, you don't want yourself fidgeting with the functions. Recently, one of my friends who's doing his MBA, he went for a case competition, and it obviously happened online during this pandemic. And they had prepared like a whole presentation, and they also wanted to show a video for their competition. But during the competition, because they had not practiced the software beforehand, the video did not play. And as a result of that, they did not win the competition. So I mean, the least that we can do on our part is at least make sure that we don't end up in all these technical glitches, right? So please practice the software beforehand. The next thing that you need to do is wear a formal attire. Please don't wear t-shirts and shorts and sit in front of the interview. You need to wear a formal shirt, and in case you want to suit up, you can also do that. Now you will ask me, so why can't I wear shorts? I mean, they can't look at it. See, the formal attire is more for you than the interviewer. When you wear formal clothes, you get into that serious mindset and you start feeling confident about the interview. And finally, keep a pen and paper beside you in case they give you some problems to solve, or if the interviewer is saying something important and you want to jot it down, you should have a pen and paper beside you. So guys, please make sure that you do these things to be prepared before your video interview. The second tip to ace your video interview is to look at the camera. Eye contact is very important whether you're going for a face-to-face interview or if you're going for a video interview. And most of the times, the common mistake that we make is we look at the person in the screen while giving our video interview. But what we don't know is that that does not establish eye contact. So in order to make an eye contact with your interviewer and create the same effect as a face-to-face interview, you need to look at the camera when you speak. Also, a hack that I've found that works really well with some video conferencing platforms like Cisco Webex or Zoom is that there is a box that actually appears on the screen where you can see your own video. So what I do is I drag that box and put it just below the camera of my laptop. So in the entire interview, I actually look at myself and give the answers to all the questions. And the interviewer gets the feeling that I'm actually making eye contact with them. So do try this hack out and tell me in the comments below how it worked for you. The third tip to ace your video interview is to break the ice. Look, you're not there in front of the interviewer like in a face-to-face interview to go for a formal handshake, make eye contact, smile and greet them. So you need to make do with what you have. So in a video interview, you don't have to wait for the interviewer to start the conversation. If you're already there in the meeting room and the interviewer arrives after that, open the conversation, break the ice by greeting them cheerfully. You can say, "Good morning, sir. How are you doing? It's such a pleasure connecting with you." This will start your interview on a positive note and also make a good first impression. The fourth tip is to use appropriate hand gestures. When you go for a face-to-face interview, the interviewer observes your complete personality, your entire body language, because you're sitting right in front of them. But in a video interview, they can't do that. So, in order to make more impact in your video interview, you need to use appropriate hand gestures. So, one very common hand gesture that you can use is numbers. So, in case the interviewer asks you, "So, could you please tell me your 3 strengths?" So, you can say, "Yes, sir. So, my first strength is this, my second strength is this, and my third strength, that's my final strength, is this." When you do that, not only does it make it very easy for the interviewer to follow, but it also creates a very good impact. There are a lot of other hand gestures that you can use, and you can always YouTube and find more videos related to hand gestures. Finally, the fifth tip to ace your video interview is to end your interview on a high note. And to do that, make sure that you ask relevant questions. Because when you ask questions, it shows the interviewer that you are really interested in working in the company. And now if you want to know which questions can you ask during the interview, you can watch my video on 5 interview questions to ask the employer. After that, thank them for taking the time out to interview you. You can say, "Thank you for your time. Have a good day ahead." Or you can say, "Thank you so much. I've learned a lot about the company and the role today, and I look forward to hearing about the next steps." Most of the students, what they do is that they just say thank you at the end and they leave the interview. Instead, if you add these few lines that "Thank you so much for your time, have a good day ahead," or "Thank you so much for telling me more about the company and the role," it ends your interview on a high note. So definitely try this out. So guys, these are my 5 tips for you to ace your video interview. And now for the wise tip. Please don't try to cheat during the interview. Please don't have sticky notes here and there with the answers written, or please don't have an alternate screen open where you've written down the answers and you're reading from it. Please don't do it. The moment you take your eyes away from the camera, they're going to know that something fishy is happening, and then your interview will end immediately. See, you can't cheat in a face-to-face interview, right? So please don't try and cheat in a video interview as well. And now, if you want to know more about virtual interviews, or if you have any questions, you can visit my Instagram page and drop me a text. I answer all the queries personally. Also, if you want to learn interview preparation in detail, you can visit my website and register for a free demo to my interview workshop. The link is given in the description. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you all the best for your career ahead.